as her relatives and neighbors called her, was involved in the religious and social life of her community from an early age. She had many talents. She wrote debates and composed poems, one of which was set to music and is still sung in church. She held high office in various organizations. She visited the sick and shut-in. When there were no satin-lined caskets available, she used the traditional methods of pinking the sheet, making beautiful coverings for the coffins, designed with just scissors. She taught classes of mathematics and English to neighbors and friends when there were few schools. Although she never married, she single-handedly raised one of her grandnieces whose mother died in childbirth. She was also a nurse and invented various medicines.
Since 1993, Rotary Central has worked diligently each year to provide quality bus shelters to our community. A traveling convenience to our school children, the elderly, young people going to work, guest workers, and visitors using the public bus. We, Rotary Central, help you, our advertisers, make it happen. Your marketing dollar travels a far way. Positioning your message, your product, your services, your presence in over 83 bus shelters. Every dollar you spend, every advert you place helps to build another bus shelter, providing modest comfort for Cayman travelers. Reserve space now on the only billboard medium in the Cayman Islands. Email rotaryshelters@gmail.com. rotaryshelters@gmail.com. The Bus Shelters, a partner in community convenience. Another inspiration program by Rotary Central Cayman Islands.
Radio Cayman's Historical Vignettes was brought to you by Rotary Central. For more than 110 years, Rotary members have used their passion, energy, and intelligence to take action on sustainable projects.
Talk Today is brought to you by Subway, open 24 hours in Countryside, Anderson Square in Georgetown, and Centennial Towers in West Bay. And by the Ministry of District Administration. Explore your history, explore your land, explore your sister islands. And Cayman Airways. Call them on 949-2311 to book your nonstop flights to Los Angeles and Panama. And Doctors Hospital. Peace of mind is important when life happens. Doctors Hospital, always there for you. Call 949-6066.
But I do have some questions.
There are more questions than answers.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners' participation program.
Talk Today.
What's on your mind, Cayman? If you're ready to talk, we are ready to listen. Discussing current events and local news, community spotlights, hot topics, listener stories, cultural and historical discussions, environmental issues, fun and lighthearted topics, guest interviews. Cayman, basically anything you want to talk about, we are ready to listen. Here's your guest host, Orrett Conner.
Good afternoon and welcome to Talk Today. I am your guest host, Orrett Conner. It is scholarship time. We will be talking about scholarships with a representative from the Ministry of Education Scholarship Unit. Don't change that dial. If you have someone who's interested in a scholarship, this is the place to be so that you can get the relevant information. Please stay tuned. Talk Today. We'll be back shortly.
Talk Today is reminding you
to avoid any statements or comments which are abusive, derogatory, malicious, or defamatory. Do not use indecent language or make any statement that is false or misleading. Call 1-800-534-8255, 949-6990, 949-8037, or WhatsApp us on 925-3261.
And now, back to Talk Today.
Good afternoon and welcome to Talk Today. I'm your guest host. My name is Orrett Conner, and we will be talking about local, and I place the emphasis on local because there are different types of scholarships. Local scholarships for the 2025-2026 academic year. This segment and the conversation will be with Miss Elaine McLean, Elaine McLean, who is the Ministry of Education Scholarship Unit Scholarship Administrator. Ms. McLean, good afternoon. Welcome to Talk Today.
Good afternoon, Mr. OC, and all your listening audience out there. Yes, I am one of the 6 administrators there that are there keen to accommodate or expecting scholarship for this academic year of 2025 to 2026.
Okay, and before we talk specifically about the scholarships, let's give our listening and viewing audience some information about the Scholarship Secretariat.
Yes, the Scholarship Secretariat is a branch of the Ministry of Education, and each year we are committed to ensure that we educate as much Caymanians as possible, that they will be equipped to go again to the workforce, and we offer various scholarships from post-secondary, higher education level, and that could range from the age of 17 to however old you feel you are qualified and can study for a scholarship. So right now, the scholarship applications open on March 1st, and it will close promptly at 11:59 p.m. on April 30th of this year.
Okay, and these scholarships, what do they provide for locally?
Oh, they provide definitely financial burden. It's a stress off of their parents or off of themselves, because we know not everybody is inclined to go overseas to study, and they may be more comfortable for various reasons to study from home. And it is an opportunity that we encourage our scholars to take up. And this is the time now to apply. And we have the numerous of different types of scholarships available, right down from TVET, if they want to go in and do their apprenticeship or career into the cosmetology world. We have all of that type of scholarship offered. So we have all of those information, FAQs online, ready to, to accommodate our students.
Okay, let's talk about the period of time that potential applicants have to submit their applications. I believe that the application period has already opened.
Yes, sir. It did open on Saturday, March 1st.
Saturday, the 1st of March. And I guess this is just a coincidence that it will close on Election Day, the 30th of April.
Didn't even dawn on me. But it's at 11:59 p.m.
Yes,
so
yes.
They have ample time to get their act together. And already we have 20 applicants already in progress. So, as the time go by and we go out to talk to the schools, which has already commenced, they'll get excited and get their application in.
In your many years of doing this now, do you feel that applicants are becoming much more conversant and are much more able to navigate the scholarship process and to get all of that is required to have them in on whatever is necessary on time?
Thank you for that question, because I can tell you the application process is a lot simpler. It's all done online, and you will log in on moescholarships.gov.ky, and we ask you we have a checklist there, which is going to comprise definitely of a face photo. You don't have to go and go through the expense of getting a passport photo. You can take a nice photo from your phone, so long it's professional. It doesn't show any image that's not supposed to be there. You don't take it in the bathroom. You just take a nice picture with your face, and that would be what is acceptable. You would need, of course, proof that you are Caymanian, which we ask for that letter from WORC department. And of course, you're going to need a transcript and a copy of your birth certificate. That would be a good starter, because the other things will fall into place when you start to fill in the application.
Okay, and once approval has been given, the funds that are dispersed, they're dispersed to the institutions, as well as let's say, for instance, if it includes books and other material as well. How does that work?
Okay, first of all, payment commencement comes in September 2025 after all approvals are in place, and we have been receive all of the results, because even though the application period is now, we are processing behind the scenes, and we are waiting on the part of the criteria is certain examination results we acquire, and they don't come out, most of them don't come out until August, the second week of August. And there then we go through the process for approval with the Education Council, and they are vetted, and once they're vetted, all the proceeds is paid directly to the institutions of choice.
Okay, Ms. McLean, we're going to take a commercial break, and when we return, we're going to continue to dispense this very valuable information for those eligible persons who are interested in local scholarships here in the Cayman Islands. Folks, please stay tuned. Talk today. We'll be back shortly.
Easter vacation is just around the corner, and Cayman Airways has added multiple extra flights to some of your favorite destinations, some of mine too. Look here, they got seats available now for booking on extra Easter flights between Grand Cayman and Kingston, La Ceiba, Miami, Cayman Brac, Little Cayman, and you can even catch a non-stop flight to Montego Bay for Easter. Check it out. You can visit CaymanAirways.com, contact a local travel agent, or call Cayman Airways Reservations on 949-2311. And don't wait too long though, because these extra Easter seats always sell fast. Be sure to add your Sir Turtle Rewards number to your booking so you can earn more miles for more free trips this year. Well, I know where I'm going. I'll see you on board a uniquely Caymanian airline for Easter.
Stay cyber secure with Cayman National. Here are a few tips that will benefit you. Ensure to log out completely when you finish any online banking activities. Be aware of phishing attempts and only click links from trusted sources that are sent from your device through emails and messages. Remember, Cayman National will never ask you for your credentials. If you suspect a fraud attempt or that your account has been compromised, please immediately contact our customer support team at 949-8300.
Did you know that Doctors Hospital provides urgent care services 24 hours a day, 7 days a week? And Doctors Hospital's urgent care physicians have access to the most advanced MRI and CT imaging in the Caribbean, providing reliable diagnostics when you need it most. When you need quality urgent care for an illness or injury, Doctors Hospital is here for you 24/7. Whether it's a migraine, chest or abdominal pain, shortness of breath, broken bones, or another urgent need, Doctors Hospital at the top of Walker's Road. Urgent care right now.
Wouldn't it have been grand if you had purchased land 30 years ago? It may not be 2020, but a perfect vision has never been more clear. Cayman Brac and Little Cayman, poised for growth with an eye on the future. Your land, your history, your future. Discover all that our sister islands have to offer.
Social media, X, formerly Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Interact with our talk shows on YouTube. Download our official Radio Cayman app, or you can log on to our website, www.radiocayman.gov.ky. You can also add us to WhatsApp
on 925-3261.
All the latest information, breaking news, community events, and more. Radio Cayman. Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Good afternoon and welcome back to Talk Today. For those of you who are just joining us, I will remind you that we have in the studio with us Miss Elaine McLean, who is from the Ministry of Education Scholarship Unit, and she is one of the scholarship administrators in that unit. A very, very, very busy unit, I would imagine. And are there any slow times there at the unit, or is it busy?
We do have a little lull time. Yes, we do have a little lull time, which is the time when we go out to the schools and do our prep talks and so forth. Yeah.
But once those applications are in, then yes. What do we the system that you have set up, since it's an online system, everything must be completed before the system will accept it. It won't accept a partial application. How does it work?
Well, like it being an online application, we have to upload documents, and we do not accept blank documents.
Okay.
What we do accept, like for instance, like you need to have your work letter to prove that you're a Caymanian. If you don't have that at the specific time, you can upload a receipt that you have paid for it, or a copy of the application, which will suffice. Yes. So we don't really accept, or even if you're going to upload a blank document, just write something on it that is pending, or something like that.
Yeah,
but
give you some information,
yes.
some type of information.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So what we want to look at now, can we talk a little bit about what I know we mentioned it earlier, but we didn't go into detail what the scholarship covers, as far.
But before we go on to that,
sure.
One of the critical criteria when you're going to apply, we encourage parents to allow their child or children to be a part of the process. If they can't take full control of it, at least let them sit in, that they'll be aware of what is going on, because when we have the call about the application, it's the students we mostly going to call, because they would be in control of their subjects and of whatever is going on. And we have it big and bold in yellow that let the student be a part of it and do their application, because it has to be in their email name. Their email has to be there, and their details. So, and if that's not there, if it's in the parent's name, all it do is delay the process. It is put further behind, it will be declined. And if it's up to the board to push it forward, back, and then at that time, the student will have to redo it. And we just encourage to try to get it right the first time to avoid that delay.
And it also helps the student to be familiar with exactly. what is being done.
Yes, sir. And start taking control of, whatever is coming ahead. Yes.
Yeah.
And to get back now to your question about the A-levels.
Yes.
Oh, that is a real critical, one of the most popular post-secondary application that we deal with. And that is mostly done at the Cayman Prep School and the St. Ignatius Catholic School. And they have, although they're applying to us for that, they have to apply to the school as well. So that is an important criteria. So just don't rely on the scholarship. Make sure you apply to the school as well. And despite we having our criteria to get into, because we normally ask for 5 passes, 1 and 2s, which include maths and English. They would want, or 3s, they would also want, they want nothing less than 2s. And then with that, they're competing, our government students are competing against their A-level students, and they would only take the best. So they have to take in consideration of that as well, and ensure that they know what their children is going to study, because by now they should know what career path they want to take. And if they're going to really, really need that A-level, because we find that most students don't need an A-level. They're probably taking it because a friend is taking it, and then they go, it's a 2-year contract, by the way. You're bonding for 2 years. And they go along the way pathway, and then if they get a bad grade, they want to stop and transfer to another institution, for instance, UCCI or something like that. And then that is a waste, and it's not really acceptable. So you have to make certain that A-level is really what you need for your stepping ground to get into your university.
So if unfortunately they drop out of the A-level program before completion, that scholarship award that has been given to them, that is not transferable to, or is it transferable to any other institution of higher learning?
It's not transferable like that. It's not as easy like that. But we would take that to Education Council, and they would decide if they were going to approve it for them to go and finish up at UCCI and so forth.
Now, as far as
CCI, can't forget them.
yes, as far as the applications for A levels are concerned, you pointed out that not only do they need to get the approval from you if they're going to get a scholarship,
yes, sir,
but they also need to get admission from one of the two
approval
schools.
from them. Yes.
Which one should come first, or should it be done simultaneously?
No, they're open now as well, so they should do both. Both right now. Don't wait till appointed time, because they're cut off. They only could take so much amount of students anyway. So the quicker you get it in to them and get on their list, it'll be better for the student.
Okay, so let's say now if I'm submitting an application to you for A-level studies, would you want to see that I have been accepted by some institution before you award it to me?
No, not necessarily.
Okay.
Because they too are waiting on grades.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
they too are waiting to make their final decision based on their final grades. So you see, it's a waiting process. That's why, we don't give approval till around August.
Okay.
And for the A-levels, if they're a subject that they're interested in that's not on island, that's not available on our island, we will allow them to go to any one of the Commonwealth countries to do the studies, such as the UK, Canada, Trinidad, Barbados, or Jamaica. But they must have proof that they can't get that subject here.
Okay. One of our listeners has sent a WhatsApp message asking, and I believe this will probably be covered in the next segment with some of your colleagues, but they wanted to know whether or not tertiary online study is covered under the scholarship application period.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, it is. Yes, and for mature students, like I said, get those applications in. And we know they've been out of school a long time, and we wouldn't expect them to have academic grades to give us, but we do ask for their resume, or if they could get a reference from their work of employment to go ahead with that. That is very supportive and help for them to get the degree they're aiming for. So we encourage them to apply.
Okay. Paul, we want to talk about some of the higher education institutions in the Cayman Islands that persons that fall under the umbrella of the local scholarships. But what we're going to do, we're going to come to you first so that we don't have to interrupt that discussion to go to a commercial break. Folks, please stay tuned. Talk Today. We'll be back shortly.
Accidents and illnesses can strike without warning. Ouch! When it comes to urgent care, every second counts. At Doctors Hospital, we have a dedicated team of experienced doctors and nursing staff available to you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Don't waste time in an overcrowded emergency room when you need urgent care. Whether it's a broken bone, a severe infection, or a sudden illness, trust in Doctors Hospital's unwavering dedication to providing the best immediate care. For complete urgent care when you need it the most, choose Doctors Hospital, located in Georgetown, 16 Middle Road.
Easter vacation is just around the corner, and Cayman Airways has added multiple extra flights to some of your favorite destinations, some of mine too. Look here, they got seats available now for booking on extra Easter flights between Grand Cayman and Kingston, La Ceiba, Miami, Cayman Brac, Little Cayman, and you can even catch a non-stop flight to Montego Bay for Easter. Check it out. You can visit CaymanAirways.com, contact a local travel agent, or call Cayman Airways Reservations on 949-2311. And don't wait too long though, because these extra Easter seats always sell fast. Be sure to add your Sir Turtle Rewards number to your booking so you can earn more miles for more free trips this year. Well, I know where I'm going. I'll see you on board our uniquely Caymanian airline for Easter.
Stay cyber secure with Cayman National. Here are a few tips that will benefit you. Ensure to log out completely when you finish any online banking activities. Be aware of phishing attempts and only click links from trusted sources that are sent from your device through emails and messages. Remember, Cayman National will never ask you for your credentials. If you suspect a fraud attempt or that your account has been compromised, please immediately contact our customer support team at 949-8300.
Subway and Oreo has changed the dessert game. Introducing the Oreo footlong cookie, a full 12 inches of chocolatey, creamy goodness. It's big, it's bold, and it's here for a limited time. Perfect for sharing or not. We won't judge. Want it fast? Order ahead with the Subway Cayman Islands app for quick pickup and earn loyalty points, or get it delivered straight to your door with Bento and Let's Eat. Don't wait. Treat yourself today. The Oreo footlong cookie is calling your name. Subway. Eat fresh. Snack sweet.
Forward, forward, forward with PPM.
Cayman, the time for proven stable leadership is now. Join me, Joey Hugh, at the PPM campaign launch, Saturday, March 8th, 7 p.m. Compass Green. Meet the team, hear the vision, be a part of the movement. We're moving forward. See you Saturday, March 8th, Compass Green, 7 p.m.
We're moving forward with PPM.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Good afternoon and welcome back to Talk Today. We're on the last segment of this portion of For the Record with talking about the Ministry of Education scholarships. We will have other representatives from the Ministry of Education talking more about scholarships, joining us after this segment is over as well. But we have the pleasure of having in the studio with us this afternoon Ms. Elaine McLean, who is the scholarship administrator in the scholarship unit of the Ministry of Education. So we're going to talk more now about the higher education institutions in the Cayman Islands. If you're interested in attending them, that will be covered by the scholarship program. Ms. McLean, over to you.
Okay, thank you. Yes, of course, we have UCCI, ICCI, Truman Borden Law School. We have the UE Open Campus. Yes, which is also located on the UCCI campus. Yes, and we have, if you're a student coming straight out of UCCI with the first year, we would ask them to have at least 2.75 to continue if they're coming out straight out of high school in a dual entry.
Okay.
At least 2.75 with 12 credits. And if they're going into from the mature group, they would just need, like I said, a reference letter and a resume from their employee to get into one of those schools. And we have different criteria. So all of that information is all located on our website with all the FAQs. And we encourage you to call us if you need any further details on 244-2482 or write to us at scholarships@gov.ky.
So, Ms. McLean, based on your experience, what has been the reaction and the uptake for these scholarship programs? You know, for the uninformed or those who like to basically sit back and voice their opinions without having the facts, because you still hear people say, well, you know, we're not offering educational opportunities to our Caymanians. What is the uptake like in terms of these scholarship programs that we have?
I am happy to say that each year we do have students coming forward to take up opportunity to further their educations. So we could have anywhere from 200 to 300 applications each year for local scholarships. From each school's totaling over 300. Yes, and we already have a portfolio of over 1,500 students that's on scholarship for locals. And, we encourage students to apply, which we do see a lot of Caymanians taking that route, which is very impressive. And we looking forward for that same thing to occur now for the 25 to 2026 academic year.
Okay. We still have about 10 minutes to go. So I want you to go over some of the requirements for the scholarship.
Great. Right. So we said our application is an online application, and the website is moescholarships.gov.ky. We have all the information that you would need, from helping you set up your e-services account right through to the end. And once you get on the application, it is very, very straightforward, and you don't have to you can take time to do it. You don't have to be doing it in sequence. You could just do whatever you have, but ensure that you have that application completed in time on April 30th, 11:59 p.m. when it will shut down. And then we ask you to start looking into your WORC. And this could be a busy time because there's a lot of people, not only scholarships, are looking for that. We have employees looking for that information as well. So the quicker they get there to start applying for that, it would be good. And we ask for a nice, clear face photo, which can be taken off your mobile phone. We ask for your birth certificate and your transcript. So if you haven't gotten your transcript yet, you can go up to the Department of Education and start looking into that as well.
Now, you spoke earlier of the fact that they need the acknowledgement letter saying that they Caymanian. Why is the birth certificate necessary then too?
Well, the birth certificate prove age as well.
Okay.
Yes, because we have to make certain you're within 17 years. Like, say, for instance, and then it also proves the fact too that we know who we're dealing with is who is on the application as well.
Can't take any chances these days as well.
Sir.
Yes. So if a person uploads their photograph of their passport, Cayman Islands passport, says name, place of birth, Cayman Islands, date of birth, and everything, that is not sufficient for you to establish whether or not
you're definitely Caymanian status. Because anybody could possess a Caymanian passport these days.
Yes.
But we definitely need it to come from the officials that you went through the process and you're pleasing them and they've authorized it, and to give you the Caymanian, whether it's a certificate or the letter, we'll take that. Because passport do not prove. And we've been over that numerous times.
I can imagine, yes.
It does not prove that you're a Caymanian.
Okay. And again, once the application process has been completed, when will funds be dispersed for the particular academic year?
Okay.
And in this case, for 2025.
Yes, sir. Once we got everything and all the green light get good to go, all the exams in and approval is given from the Education Council, payment commences September 2025 for that period.
Okay.
And it could go over to October, November, depends on when the students, because some students we find will apply and they don't get their letter in time, especially if you're not from Caymanian parents. And whenever they do get their letter in, we could add them in. Or if we have students who, say, for instance, had to retake their A-levels for some reason, if they failed it and they retake it, then, payments keep ongoing. And there's certain times when those will be done and the results are back out.
Okay. Ms. Elaine, this person has sent a question, but I'm sure that this is way above your pay grade because it is more in relation to policy. But I will read it anyway because it can be it can be a topic for discussion later on some other show. So the person says that they understand that I have someone here now discussing scholarships on the show, and they want me to ask what is the sense of government giving scholarships to Caymanians, and when they return from university, there are no jobs for them. In this case, you're not dealing with overseas. You're dealing with locals. But exactly. we could substitute when they return and say when they finish university. But That is something that you don't coordinate. You deal with scholarships and that's it.
That's like you say, that's about me. And that's something our incoming government can look after and ensure that something is in place for our students. Because we do have students that come back and don't get jobs in their relevant fields of study. And they have to go off and do anything they can take. Yeah, so it's unfortunate. But yes, we can look into that with the ministry, the new government coming in.
To see, because one of the things that people have always said is that we have a situation in the Cayman Islands where their work permits are issued left, right, and center because businesses need them. We have systems in place now that tells us those areas where you're getting more applications for. So if students are aware that, listen, in the accounting field, there are opportunities there because we're issuing lots of work permit. In other fields, culinary, whatever, then they could go overseas or locally, study those subject areas, become qualified in them, and then they're eligible to fill those jobs. But the various coordinations that should take place between the let's say the scholarship department, and then those who are responsible for issuing work permits to say, hey, we have
identify
these persons
those persons are coming back.
Exactly.
That has been in the working for years. So I am trusting and hoping that one day in our lifetime we'll see it come to fruition. And however, I must say that with the accounting firms and the law firms, they mostly take care of summer students from the onset because they are affiliated with them, whether when they go in to do career jobs or whatever with them, they kind of already have their eyes set on some. So that is good that they have that option, most of them, to come back and go straight into the industry for the accountants and the lawyers. And they also mostly give partial scholarship to those students they're interested in too. So that's a good way for them that we know for sure some of them are covered. Yes, and like.
Okay. Any final points that we want to raise, want to highlight, as far as the notifications, what people should know about the local scholarships, the date lines, for applying and any important points that you want to get across.
Let me reiterate again that our local scholarship process is ongoing right now, and it closes promptly at 11:59 come Wednesday, April the 30th. And we encourage all who are seeking to look about improving their education levels, whether they're from 17 years and above, because we do have we have applicants 70 years before 60 odd years. So if you're thinking about, it's never too late. It's never too late to, try to learn new things, as education is always ongoing, and we always encourage that. And it keeps your mind and your brain going as well.
Yeah. One of the things that we want to highlight before you leave is the fact that sometimes there are I know in my younger days, everybody wanted to go overseas to school, and we didn't have the opportunities that we have here now in terms of tertiary education. But there are still persons who prefer to stay closer to home rather than going overseas. So what does the local scholarship do for them in terms of allowing them to remain here and get the same or similar quality of education?
Well, it's up to them. We can't force them, but we encourage them to apply. Once they apply and they want to stay here, some of them might want to stay for a year, decide they want to go off to complete the next year. Okay. We are there for them. So all they have to do is just apply. And like I said before, not everyone is inclined to go overseas. Not too much people want to go far from their families. Not too much people are going to get used to the cold or whatever, Some people are shy and whatever reason. So we encourage them to please, please, please take good use of this opportunity that our generous government have in place for years.
Yes.
And apply for your scholarship. And please call us. We are there ready and eager to answer and to assist you. And I'm sure My manager, if she was here, Dr. Shari Smith, she would say the same thing. So we want to empower our young Caymanians alike to take this great opportunity up. And I'm looking forward to seeing your application.
Ms. Elaine, I want to thank you and your colleagues for all the good work that you do as well. We know that you
I know my girls are watching, so maybe shout out Chelsea, Stephanie, especially Leah. And we just have a young guy, Corey, if you're there.
Okay. Because we know that there are times when you come under a tremendous amount of pressure
yes, sir.
and stuff like
yes,
that,
sir.
but you're quite diligent in ensuring that you deliver the type of service
and I trust those out there that needed to hear, would have heard, and encourage others, other parents to, get their students involved.
Okay, so folks, we're going to go to our 1 o'clock news. When we return, we will be hearing from Ms. Kimberly Kirkconnell as well as Shanay Watt talking about the registration process as well. Please stay tuned. Talk Today. We'll be back shortly.
We are Radio Cayman,
covering Cayman Brac, Little Cayman, and Grand Cayman.
1 in a million. From Radio Cayman's newsroom, this is Headlines. Local, regional, international news.
The Headline News is brought to you by Kirk Market and Health Services Authority.
With a look at your latest headlines, I'm Jevi Ebanks. The Water Authority wants a more in-depth look at the geology of the sister islands, issuing a request for a proposal on government's Bonfire Hub procurement website. The Cayman Brac and Little Cayman exploratory drilling contract will gather, quote, site-specific information on the geology in Cayman Brac and Little Cayman for the, quote, design of the abstraction and disposal wells for future reverse osmosis water treatment plants. In regional news, in Barbados, gospel singer and pastor Vincent Anthony Tony Lowe will return to court on Thursday, charged with indecently assaulting a female church member 5 times over a 2-year period. Lowe allegedly fondled the complainant's breast and inserted his fingers into her private parts. A witness testified the complainant fled upon seeing Lowe approach. Retired police officer Derek Boyce testified that Lowe initially denied the allegations but later confessed. The case continues on Thursday. The Dominican Republic intercepted a shipment of arms and ammunition operating from Miami and destined for Haiti. The seizures included 36,000 ammunition capsules, various magazines, high-caliber rifles, and an Uzi machine gun. This follows a recent seizure of 37 firearms from Brooklyn at the same port. Authorities are investigating with the support of various security agencies. Criminal gangs in Haiti are contributing to violence and instability, prompting a Kenya-led UN mission to combat gang violence. That is your latest headlines. I'm Jevi Ebanks.
Radio Cayman. More news available at www.radiocayman.gov.ky. Check out our social media pages: Facebook, YouTube, X, formerly Twitter, Radio Cayman Headline News.
Looking for fresh, healthy food that's full of flavor? Then you've got to visit Kirk Market. Our dishes are made with fresh, high-quality ingredients. Enjoy vibrant mixed greens or satisfying pasta salads. Or try one of our delicious grill options like blackened chicken, spicy beef steak, or grilled salmon. Looking for something light and flavorful? We've got sushi rolls and poke bowls prepared daily. And don't forget to explore a hot bar or build a fresh salad at the salad bar. Stop by Kirk Market today for breakfast, lunch, or dinner and taste the difference. Eat well, live well with Kirk Market.
Do you have a healthcare question but not sure who to ask? Contact HSA's Patient Call Center to speak to one of our experienced clinical team members. We are here to answer your questions and help guide you through your healthcare journey. Need to make an appointment? Our team can help. Contact HSA at 949-8600 or email info@hsa.ky. At HSA, we are committed to caring for you.
Radio Cayman is pleased to feature this special Sister Islands historical vignette brought to you by the Ministry of District Administration and Lands. Explore your history, explore your land, explore your Sister Islands. Hinton Roxroy Connolly was born in Creek, Cayman Brac on 9th September 1937. Fondly known as Big H to his family and friends, following a 5-year career at sea, Mr. Hinton returned to Cayman Brac, taking up work with Brac Power and Light Company for 3 years prior to moving to Grand Cayman, where he commenced employment with Cable and Wireless in March 1966. Big H would eventually move back to Cayman Brac, working his way up from a linesman to a supervisor throughout the 29 years of employment with Cable and Wireless, eventually retiring in August 1994. Following his retirement, Mr. Hinton continued to do electrical work for the many people of Cayman Brac. Radio Cayman is pleased to feature this special Sister Islands historical vignette brought to you by the Ministry of District Administration and Lands. Explore your history, explore your land, explore your Sister Islands.
Explore your history, explore your land, explore your Sister Islands, the ultimate staycation experience. Your culture, your freedom, the land that time forgot isn't gone. It's your Sister Islands.
Discover all that our Sister Islands have to offer.
Radio Cayman Talk Today continues.
Good afternoon and welcome back to Talk Today. We're still talking about education and scholarships, and it's my pleasure to have in the studio with me, no stranger to Radio Cayman, Miss Kimberly Kirkconnell, who's the Senior Customer Service Manager with the Department of Education Services. And we have... She may be a stranger of sorts, but after today, she will no longer be a stranger. Miss Shanay Wathoo, and I think I may have pronounced that incorrectly earlier at the end of the last segment, but we have Miss Shanay Watt, who's a customer service officer within the Department of Education Services. Ladies, good afternoon. Welcome to Talk Today.
Good afternoon. Thank you for having us.
Okay, Ms. Kirkconnell, I'm going to throw it right over to you.
Yes, sir.
And talk about what the Department of Education Services is doing as far as the registration and the information that you want to disperse to all of the potential applicants out there.
All right. Thank you, Mr. O.C. So we are back in registration season again, and this is registration for our government schools, so both here in Grand Cayman and in Cayman Brac and Little Cayman as we need. Currently that school has been closed because we don't have any students over there. But yeah, we're back in registration season. It launched on the 1st of March. And before I get into the further details, I'm just going to ask Shanay to give us the hot dates so everyone can mark those in those calendars.
Yes.
Thank you, Ms. Kim. So our current standard registration period, that's opened on Saturday, 1st of March 2025, but it will close at 11:59 p.m. on Monday, 30th of June 2025. Again, that's the standard registration period that opened on Saturday, 1st March 2025, and it will close at 11:59 p.m. on Monday, 30th of June 2025. We also have a late registration period nonetheless that will open on Tuesday, 1st July 2025 and will close at 11:59 p.m. on Sunday, 30th of November 2025. We do encourage all applications to be submitted via the DES registration portal, as we do not take physical copies of documents anymore.
Yeah, and that's at our website at schools.edu.ky. And even though, as Ms. Shanay said, there is a late registration period, we very, very much want everyone to try and get their applications in during the standard registration period, because we do have to do a cutoff. We'll process all the ones that came in through the standard registration period first, and then the late ones. So there'll be delays in processing. The applications may not be ready for the start of the school, depending on where in that late application period you've put on. Also depending on if year groups or certain in certain schools become full, right? So please, 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 we have already received well over 150 applications since Saturday. So thank you to all those who have been on the ball and submitting them early. But anybody else, hesitating, please put it in. Even if your decision is that you choose maybe not to go with a public school placement afterwards, get it in just in case. Let us process it. You can always withdraw it after.
Okay. And who qualifies for public school placement?
So really and truly, everyone who's legally resident, right? So you can't be on a visitor's visa. But once you are a legal resident and you have all the necessary documentation out of work, then you can qualify. But we do have a priority list. So Caymanians are always first, right? Caymanians are placed first, their applications are processed first. That's a question we get regularly, and I just want to reconfirm Caymanians are placed first. After that, we have our refugees and asylum seekers. And then the list carries down to, and before I say it wrong, let me actually go through the priority list with you. Right, so Caymanians are first. Then we have our refugees and asylum seekers. Then we have our dependents of Caymanians. So those are children who maybe their Caymanian status has not come in yet, but their parents have got their status first. Or people on an RERC certificate, so children who are dependents of a spouse of Caymanian. Children who have been adopted by Caymanian parents, or if there's any Caymanian residency orders. And then after that is contracted government employees. So you have to be on a civil service contract. And then dependents of permanent residents and dependent of work permit holders. And our registration in Grand Cayman, so in North Side and East End, we do provide a nursery group. So that's children who are living in those areas who turn 3 before the 1st of September this year. Then all of our primary schools have a reception. So those are for children turning 4 before the 1st of September. And then we go up from compulsory between 5 and 17 years old, all the way up to year 12.
Okay. And what has the demand been like, over the years?
The demand is getting more and more, right? As our schools become stronger, as cost of living affects our society, we are seeing more and more applications coming in for our government system. The team stays extremely busy through the entire season and beyond, finishing up and processing and so on. And so we are seeing more and more come into our government system, which is a good problem to have. But yes, the highest demand. So again, stressing, please get your applications in as early as possible.
Okay. Now, Ms. Shanay did mention about the registration portal and everything. Can we talk a little bit more about that portal? How it works? Will it reject an incomplete application? Things of that nature?
Sure. Shanay, you want to speak to that?
No, that's
Shanay's still getting comfortable.
Yeah. It's okay.
So the registration portal online many of it is just questions you need to complete or answer. There are sections where you have to upload documents. So before you even hit the link for the registration application online, there is a list. And it says, please make sure you have all of these documents ready before you go into the application form. So those are things like your child's birth certificate, IDs for parents, your proof of your home address, because we are a catchment system, any psychological assessments that we may need to know about if your children have any needs. And so the form will not let you go forward without uploading those documents. And then at the end, there's a declaration you sign and then you submit. It's also very important that anybody who is a legal guardian or parent of the child both have to sign the form. We understand that there's varying family dynamics out there. So if 2 parents can't sign at the same time, there's also a consent form that the other parent has to sign, and that has to be uploaded. And that's also available on our website. But we must hear from all parents who have that legal right and legal guardianship to the children.
Okay, this is a good point, Paul, for us to take a commercial break. Folks, when we return, the conversation will continue about registration. Oh, the break is... Thank you very much. I'm so accustomed to my show, For the Record, every 15 minutes. We're going to go on until 1:30 before we take our break.
Okay.
And now, I wanted to ask you something, between the break, because I didn't want to throw it on you, and it's not a part of our talking points. But I wanted to ask, and I will ask, we have several preschools in the Cayman Islands. is there any coordination between the or conversations between the preschools and the department in relation to when children are reaching that age that they will transition from preschool into what it would be?
So you mean to encourage those parents to register?
Yes. To get that information out.
The
to
information
them
out
via the school, the preschool that they're
Gotcha.
attending. Yeah.
So those conversations haven't been built yet. We've actually had an invitation from the early years community to make a presentation, and we will be sharing some information with them. But we haven't. But that is something we are looking at, and we try to push it out through as many avenues. So thank you for that. But they have reached out, and we are hoping to explore that avenue more.
Okay. We spoke about the late registration period already and what that's all about, but you really are focusing and encouraging people. Don't wait for that late registration period.
Please don't.
Yes. Catchment areas and school placement. That, I would imagine, has been a tricky thing throughout the years. I know in situations where someone is living in one area, but they want the child to attend to a school in another area.
Yes.
And you can't accommodate everyone who has
No,
those
we
desires.
cannot accommodate.
So how does it work?
So we are catchment system first and foremost. We've actually been doing some very detailed analysis on where those catchment boundaries lie. That's a further update coming to clarify that to parents working on all that text, so that we hopefully everyone can understand where their catchment is, especially as neighborhoods grow, as road networks have changed. Even we're like, oh, where does that road go? Or that goes over there too. And how do we piece that together? So we've been doing a big piece of work on that. And so first and foremost, catchment. And we do also check. We double check all the dates. We use Google Maps. We use the Lands and Survey address locator to kind of help us figure out where everybody is. Most parents are very good. They know where their catchment is. Some on those borderlines get a little tricky. And then, of course, we do have people who want an out-of-catchment placement for various reasons. There is a formal out-of-catchment process. So it is a formal request. You have to tell us where your catchment school is, where your out-of-catchment request is, and the justification for it. We stress that out-of-catchment placements are not guaranteed. We cannot guarantee them. It is based on spacing availability, and catchment children will get first priority. But however, we do try and consider, we know there's lots of different scenarios out there. We have added more into our guidelines this year about the out-of-catchment to kind of help structure it a bit more, because we are seeing more and more of those requests. Most of the time, people come in for logistics sake and because of traffic. Unfortunately, we will not accept those justifications because everybody's in that boat. Especially if your child is year 1 and above, they can use a school bus, which we provide that option. It is a very touchy area, and we understand the struggles. We're parents ourselves. We deal with the school drop-offs and pickups. We understand the traffic situation. But if we put all children in town, we wouldn't have enough space, right? So one other thing we have stated this year is that out-of-catchment request has to come in at the time of your application.
Okay.
Right? So we have added that to the guidelines this year because we were having situations where people would get confirmed placement and then all of a sudden they want an out-of-catchment. Also, out-of-catchment requests are reviewed by our registration panel, which our director and deputy director sits on, as well as the registration team, so that it's a fair process. Everyone reviews and we review the situation. But yes, those out-of-catchments have to come because they are very time-consuming. And also, if you want an out-of-catchment, you also need to understand that there is going to be a delay in finalizing your application because we have to place all the catchment children first. So we don't look at out-of-catchments until the standard registration period closes.
Got you. Okay, now when we look at the fees for government schools and when we look at, and hear about some of the fees that you pay at private schools.
Yes.
Huge. It's like,
Yeah.
chalk and cheese, right? Can we talk about the fees?
Sure. Shanay, you want to run through them?
Yeah, she looks like a financial person.
Yeah.
Okay. So currently for non-Caymanian students in specific categories are our primary school students, that being years 1 to 6. Their fee per term would be CI $250. For our lower secondary students, that being years 7 to 9, their fee would be 300 CI per term. And for the highest secondary, that being years 10 to 12, their fee would be 400 CI per term. Parents will receive an invoice from the Ministry of Education at the end of September for these, and the fees must be paid at the Treasury Department, that's at the GAB building or Government Administration building. And if anyone should have any payment inquiries, they can be sure to email moefinance@gov.ky. Again, that's moefinance@gov.ky. Or they can always call 345-244-1804. That's 345-244-1804.
And the verification process, for that in terms of that the fees have been paid, if we could talk a little bit about that. And also, what do the fees cover?
Now you're asking interesting questions. So the fees essentially cover, the placement for the child to attend, right? I mean, in terms of free school meals and so on, all students in our system get access to that, right? So you're paying for your child's placement. And, we do encourage, we don't actually handle the processing of that money that goes through our finance unit. Where we sometimes get problems is if parents want their report cards or transcripts. If you're not paid those fees, you cannot access those documents. So we ask parents, please pay them on time, right? They are, as you say, compared to the private sector, minimal. It's a responsibility. We do have sometimes too, especially if families have qualified for Caymanian status, right? It does not mean that it wipes all your previous fees, right? It means that you have to pay up those fees. You won't pay any more after you've received status, but you still have to cover the fees before that. So again, we just kindly ask people to, pay their fees. And also, if you know your child has to pay fees and somehow you've missed an invoice, please reach out to our finance unit and they'll clarify any information, stay on top of it. And all of this contact information is available on our website under the registration tab in case anyone didn't hear it today.
Okay. Transfers and withdrawals. We'll talk about that.
Yeah. So our transfers are between government schools. So sometimes we get applications where parents misunderstand and think it's a transfer coming from a private school into the government system. If your child is currently at a private school and you want government school placement, that is a brand new registration application. It is not a transfer. Most of the transfers we deal with is if families are moving catchment. So if you were living in West Bay, but you've now built in Savannah and you're moving and your child needs to move to their catchment school. So again, it's an online form. It's on the same page as our main registration form. We need proof of your new address. The ID is just to verify that it's the parents putting in. You fill out that form and we'll process the transfer. There are some situations, which I don't want to get too heavy in, but sometimes, if there's a health and safety reason or, family dynamics have changed or there's family support through NAU, it may actually need a transfer to an out of catchment. And those requests come through there as well. And any of those will go up to the registration panel for processing.
Okay. And anything that we have discussed that you want to highlight or any additional information that you want to provide to our listening and viewing audience?
Again, stressing that, registration season is open. We opened on the 1st of March. Standard registration closes on the 30th of June. Please try and not apply in the late registration period, get everything in early. If you have any questions, please feel free to call us at DES or email us. We've changed our email this year. We've updated to studentregistration@gov.ky. And, you know, the team is ready and willing to give you advice and to help any way that we can. I do also want to say that for our provision in Grand Cayman, reception is for Caymanian children only, as is nursery, right? We sometimes do have expat families trying to apply. Those will be rejected. Reception and nursery in Grand Cayman are Caymanian only. In the Cayman Brac, because there's not private alternatives other than we do allow non-Caymanian children to attend the nursery and reception there, but it's based on the priority list.
And
so
do they get it for free, or they have to pay?
They still have to pay school fees. So yes, and and we'd also like to stress, sometimes we have families going to the schools themselves about registration. Our schools do not process the registration applications. They cannot confirm placement. We are the initial gatekeepers, and then we, of course, update our schools once people have met all the registration requirements and go down there. Sometimes parents like to go down there and find out if there's any spaces available, but a school may not know how many applications we have behind that, and it does not mean that those spaces are going to remain available. So those queries really need to come to us, not to the school.
And I would imagine that certain times of the year, especially during this registration process, there will be greater demands placed on you. As far as personnel is concerned, you know, I'm sure, you know, you learn from one year to the other.
Oh, yes. We're always looking
how
to improve.
How prepared are you?
We are in a much better position this year because I have 2 fabulous new team members that have joined us in the last year. So Miss Shanay is one, Mrs. Alicia Vassal is the other. And then also Miss Bryna McLaughlin, who has been our longstanding receptionist. She has also taken on some additional duties in processing. So we are in a much better. Last year, there was 2 of us processing everything, and now we've got a team of 4. So we are in a much better position, and we're hoping that we can be even more timely this year. We do try and review our processes, our guidelines every year to try and make it better both for our stakeholders and for our internal processing. So we're a work in progress.
Now, we do see increased demands on our educational system. As a result of that, we see more and more private schools starting to crop up as well.
Yes.
From a government standpoint, is the educational infrastructure, the physical plant, still capable of handling the numbers that we're likely to see? That's a loaded question.
On the spot there,
That's
Mr.
loaded.
Rossi. That is a very loaded question. I will say at this time it has been. Can't predict the future and so on. Again, we cannot always guarantee placement for our non-Caymanian applicants. Everything after Caymanians and refugees, because of our international requirements, is space dependent. Again, it also depends on the year groups. So we've learned that certain year groups are in very high demand. Expatriate children cannot enter our system into year 1, so we do have very high demand for that early year group. So we are monitoring that very, very closely. And, you know, we update the director and the ministry regularly. But yes, you know, but we have had to decline applications for non-Caymanian children because the spaces are full. And as I state, we cannot give a space that doesn't exist. And so, yeah, so unfortunately, we are not always able to accept all applications.
And at the same time, there are constitutional requirements, you know, as far as education is concerned, in terms of what our Constitution says about every child, you know, of school age.
Yes, and there's legal requirements for parents to find that schooling. So again, you know, the private sector, of course, supports with that, and we are also the same team that processes homeschooling registration. So for those families that we cannot accept into our system, we give them those options. We keep a running list of the private schools. We give them our homeschooling options so that they know there's alternatives out there.
You guys are quite busy.
We are a very busy unit. Yes.
Okay, Paul, we're going to come to you now, and I'm I'm gonna save the surprise for later in terms of the next segment. Please stay tuned. Talk today. We'll be back shortly.
Forward, forward, forward with PPM.
Cayman, the time for proven stable leadership is now. Join me, Joey Hugh, at the PPM campaign launch, Saturday, March 8th, 7 p.m. Compass Screen. Meet the team, hear the vision, be a part of the movement. We're moving forward. See you Saturday, March 8th, Compass Screen, 7 p.m.
Moving forward with PPM.
Did you know that Doctors Hospital provides urgent care services 24 hours a day, 7 days a week? And Doctors Hospital's urgent care physicians have access to the most advanced MRI and CT imaging in the Caribbean, providing reliable diagnostics when you need it most. When you need quality urgent care for an illness or injury, Doctors Hospital is here for you 24/7. Whether it's a migraine, chest or abdominal pain, shortness of breath, broken bones, or another urgent need, Doctors Hospital at the top of Walker's Road. Urgent care right now.
Easter vacation is just around the corner, and Cayman Airways has added multiple extra flights to some of your favorite destinations, some of mine too. Look here, they got seats available now for booking on extra Easter flights between Grand Cayman and Kingston, La Ceiba, Miami, Cayman Brac, Little Cayman, and you can even catch a non-stop flight to Montego Bay for Easter. Check it out. You can visit CaymanAirways.com, contact a local travel agent, or call Cayman Airways Reservations on 949-2311. And don't wait too long though, because these extra Easter seats always sell fast. Be sure to add your Sir Turtle Rewards number to your booking so you can earn more miles for more free trips this year. Well, I know where I'm going. I'll see you on board a uniquely Caymanian airline for Easter.
Stay cyber secure with Cayman National. Protect your computers and mobile devices with security software to defend against cyber attacks through viruses, malware, and other online threats. Be aware of unsecure Wi-Fi connections when in public. If you need to access your online banking or sensitive information on your mobile devices, try disabling the Wi-Fi and switching to data from your mobile network. If you suspect a fraud attempt, please contact our customer support team at 949-8300.
Hi, I'm Deputy Governor Franz Manderson, and I'm excited to announce the DG's 5K Challenge is just around the corner. We kick off things in Little Cayman on March 9th, followed by Cayman Brac on March 16th, and the grand finale on Grand Cayman on March 30th. This year, we're supporting the Cayman Islands Girls Brigade, the Cayman Islands Scouts Association, and the One-to-One Foundation, each helping to shape our next generation. Join us in making a positive impact. For registration details, find us on Facebook at DG's 5K Challenge.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Good afternoon and welcome back to Talk Today. We have a new topic that we'll be talking about now. We were talking about school registration. Before, some people, those who, I guess sometimes they're referred to as armchair quarterbacks if you're in using football parlance or sofa pundits. We'll talk about government, talk about the civil service, and even have politicians talking about the size of the civil service and reducing the size of the civil service. Well, folks, here's evidence of the hard and the varied work that many, I should say most, if not all, our civil servants do as well. So, who do we have in the studio with us? We still have Ms. Kimberly Kirkconnell, who is the Senior Customer Service Manager at the Department of Education Services. And we also have with us, and I'm going to pronounce it right this time, is Shanay Watt, who's the
Shanay.
Shanay. See that? Shanay. Oh, I sound like Trump now. Making promises and still. So, Ms. Shanay Watt, Customer Service Officer as well. And what will we talking about now? We will be talking about the very popular National Children's Festival of the Arts here in the Cayman Islands. So Ladies, I think you want to go back to something talking about the school registration, and then you will tell us about the National Children Festival of the Arts.
Yes, thank you, Mr. O.C. So just going back to registration quickly, we just wanted to also bring up 2 new points. In terms of withdrawals from the government system, so if a family chooses to go take their children overseas or move them to a private school, there is a withdrawal form that needs to be completed. It can be downloaded from our website. It needs to first be submitted at the child's school here. The principal will sign off, and there's some supporting documentation we need with that. Preferably, we want confirmation of where the child is going, because we do have a safeguarding requirement. Of course, there is a legal requirement here in Cayman, so we need to know that the child is going to another education institution, especially if we haven't seen them come through our homeschool application process. Sometimes families do not have that ready available. So then we will ask to, especially if they're going overseas, we need to see an airline ticket in the child's name for the destination as to where they're going. We don't need to see things like cost or anything like that. You can cover up that information. But we do ask parents that we need that supporting information. The other big thing is that we need both legal guardians to sign on that form because unfortunately we've had situations where one parent wants to pull a child and send them to another school and the other parent doesn't. And so we need the consent from both parents. And then finally, this year we want to clarify, we do have sometimes where people get their placement and so on, and then their children don't show up. That can be for various reasons. They've gone to another school, they haven't notified us, they've had to, leave the country, whatever the situation is. But if we don't hear from you, and your child has not attended school within those first 30 days of you receiving your placement, you are considered to have forfeited your placement, and we will remove the child from the register. And if you want to come back, you will have to reapply again. So please keep us informed. Please let us know. And we'll, we just want to know what is happening. But if the child does not show up in the first 30 days and we have not heard from you, you have lost your space, unfortunately. So.
And would you like to follow up as well to ensure that they're still adhering to the legal requirements?
Yeah, so sometimes we do. So depending on the situation, again, we're a limited team. We can check, and at the end of the day, it is the parent's legal responsibility. If it's a family we know that may have been here before and come back, or we know they're a Caymanian family, we will try and check in on it. But it all depends on the situation. We take those case by case.
Okay. Let's go right over now into the National Children Festival of the Arts, NCFA.
Yes, NCFA. So also happening at this time of the year. And we've just finished our secondary adjudications, which happened last week. My goodness. So we started off in Cayman Brac last Monday, and then we were here in Grand Cayman from Tuesday to Friday.
What does that entail?
So that entails competitions of music, which are broken down into our vocal solo ensembles competition, our instrumental solo ensembles competition, speech, dance, and drama. Schools, private and public, including homeschools, can all register their children to compete. And we've had representation from all, which has been wonderful. And so we did it slightly different this year, where we separated secondary last year as well, but we've done it a bit further apart this year because we recognize and we had stakeholder feedback of, getting into exam season, especially for our external exam students and so on, and the pressures that come with that. We do now the secondary competitions quite a bit earlier than primary. And overall, it was extremely successful. We truly have such an amazing bank of talent among our young people in this country. And so we had many gold awards received last week, many wonderful feedback from our adjudicators, and a huge thanks to them, all experts in their field that come out and support us, score the kids, but also give them feedback, where they could have improved, also where their strengths were. So we try and build that in as well. And then leading from those secondary competitions are our events that are coming up next week. And I'm going to let Shanay read those off to you so you can plug those in your calendar.
Before you read those, tell our listening and viewing audience how long the National Children Festival of the Arts has been in existence.
Oh my goodness! Now you're gonna. Now I've missed the date. So it's been since 1982.
Yeah, that's 43
yes,
years.
43 years.
A very long time.
And we're still, she wasn't the initial launcher of NCFA, but she came in shortly after, Miss Stephanie Williams.
Okay.
She still comes across to adjudicate with us. She still supports us, and I just want to do a special shout out to her because having her expertise and her institutional knowledge of NCFA has been tremendous. And so she was here last week adjudicating with us, and she's coming again for the next competitions as well.
Great. Big shout out to Miss Stephanie Williams.
Yep.
Yes.
So our events next week. Shanay, you want to go through?
Yes. But prior to that, I also want to give a big shout out to Miss Steph as well, Miss Stephanie, because
you hear how
I
confident she's sounding now?
Great. I'm a past recipient of NCFA awards, and trust me, it really helps with confidence boost, I feel, for young children. And it was so amazing to know that I'm now being a part of that team, the back end and everything, and seeing that it's still going. I love it. So shout out to my team, Miss Steph, and everybody that keeps it going. So now our upcoming events. So the most recent one that will be coming up shortly is the final concert for our secondary students. That will be on Tuesday, March 11th at 6:30 at the Hartwell Theater. Following that will be the Butterfield Young Musician of the Year concert. That will be at the Georgetown Library at 6:30 p.m. on Friday the 14th.
Okay.
So that's all within the same week. And not to end there, we also have the Amin Mohammed. Amin Mohammed. I'm going too fast again.
Don't worry about it.
I'm sorry.
Competition.
Mr. OC, you're rubbing off. Okay, the Amin Mohammed. Thank you.
Yeah.
Steel pan competition that will also be held on Saturday, the 15th of March, and this will be at the John Gray High School
in the gymnasium.
In the gymnasium, yes. Thanks, Miss Kim. And the primary adjudications for NCFA and final concerts will be held between the 31st of March to the 4th of April for Grand Cayman. And in the BRAC, we will be heading out on the 27th of March for that.
Okay.
Yep.
Have any changes taken place, as far as the calendar is concerned this year?
Yes. So like I said, we've split secondary further away from primary. And the BRAC will be slightly different just because of the number of students and schools in there. So we still split their adjudications between secondary primary, but their final concert will all take place all together, and that should be a lovely show. And then and then the primary. Now we've added primary. We've kind of stayed with the 4 days. We added 4 days to secondary this year just because the demand, which is again a wonderful problem to have, the amount of students in schools taking part, we've had to add some days to make sure we can run the competitions in the best time that we can. And then even next year, we're already building out that calendar and plan on running full weeks, both because we're seeing the demand there coming through. And then not just on the calendar, but our NCFA syllabus. So we have partnered with many experts in our community, and they sit on various committees for each of the disciplines. So we're really trying to build out further guidance, try and expand the opportunities. We're really trying to drive the Caymanian culture elements, not just those that have already been developed, but also to encourage our young people to come with their own. To create their own speech pieces, to create their own. And some of the pieces that are out there and published are actually past pieces of NCFA competitors who have, created the speech and the music and so on. And then kids now are saying that, but it's like we also want them. And we've seen some of that already. And the director, Mr. Ray, is definitely pushing for that. And we're hoping to create a special award for around that. And more information is to come on that. But we definitely want NCFA to be a catalyst for recognizing and celebrating our local culture, but also trying to enhance it as well and letting our young people have a say in it and contribute to it.
Excellent, excellent. We're going to take our last commercial break. Folks, please stay tuned. Talk Today. We'll be back shortly.
Easter vacation is just around the corner, and Cayman Airways has added multiple extra flights to some of your favorite destinations, some of mine too. Look here, they got seats available now for booking on extra Easter flights between Grand Cayman and Kingston, La Ceiba, Miami, Cayman Brac, Little Cayman, and you can even catch a non-stop flight to Montego Bay for Easter. Check it out. You can visit CaymanAirways.com, contact a local travel agent, or call Cayman Airways Reservations on 949-2311. And don't wait too long though, because these extra Easter seats always sell fast. Be sure to add your Sir Turtle Rewards number to your booking so you can earn more miles for more free trips this year. Well, I know where I'm going. I'll see you on board a uniquely Caymanian airline for Easter.
Did you know ordering your favorite sandwich from Subway just got easier? Yeah, picture this. No more waiting in line. No more fussing with cash. Just a delicious taste of Subway at your fingertips. With our new app, ordering your go-to sub is as easy as a few taps on your phone. Plus, receive exclusive deals and earn loyalty points with every purchase made on the app. Download the new Subway app today and get ready to ditch the lines and drive straight into your flavor. Visit the App Store or Google Play Store on your mobile phone and search for Subway Cayman Islands. Subway. Eat fresh.
Now, more than ever, supporting your immune system is crucial to helping your body fight off illnesses like the common cold, the flu, and COVID-19. At ValueMed Pharmacy on Walkers Road and in Buttontown, we carry all the essential vitamins and minerals to help support your immune system and improve your overall health. Some of our top immunity support picks are vitamin C, vitamin D, zinc, elderberry, and quercetin are the popular 7-in-1 immunity support. Our pharmacists are always on hand to help guide you and answer any questions. Visit ValueMed Pharmacy on Walkers Road or Buttontown. Live happy, live healthy with ValueMed Pharmacy.
Cayman, could it be you? Tortuga's 10K giveaway is back, and someone's walking away with $10,000 in cash. Every time you spend $25 at Tortuga, in-store or online at tortuga.ky, you get a shot at winning big. As well as $10,000 in cash, we've got thousands in giveaways to hand out every week. Think staycations, the latest iPhones, exclusive experiences, and more. Get in to win. Visit tortuga.ky for the full terms and conditions.
The best foundation you can wear is glowing, healthy skin. The offices of dermatologist Dr. Wayne Porter specialize in enhancing your skin's well-being. Whether you're seeking advanced skincare, including any skin cancers, Botox, filler, cosmetic skin enhancements, or simply looking to reduce wrinkles, Dr. Porter offers a full-service dermatology and dermatological surgery practice. For more information, email drportercayman@gmail.com or call 946-9020. That is 946-9020.
Forward, forward, forward with PPM.
Cayman, the time for proven stable leadership is now. Join me, Joey Hugh, at the PPM campaign launch, Saturday, March 8th, 7 p.m. Compass Green. Meet the team, hear the vision, be a part of the movement. We're moving forward. See you Saturday, March 8th, Compass Green, 7 p.m.
Moving forward with PPM.
Freedom, Cayman Brac. Freedom, Little Cayman. Soft breezes, blue waters, no traffic. Unwind and rejuvenate your mind, body, and soul. Sister Island Staycations, a taste of freedom. Discover all that our sister islands have to offer. Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Good afternoon and welcome back to Talk Today. My name is Orrett Conner and I'm filling in temporarily, I hope. And unfortunately, we're on the last portion of this segment with Miss Kimberly Kirkconnell, who's the Senior Customer Service Manager at the Department of Education Services, as well as Ms. Shanay Watt, who's the Customer Service Officer. We're talking about the National Children's Festival of the Arts, which has been around for 43 years, since 1982, going from strength to strength, as we have heard before as well. So, Ms. Kirkconnell, you spoke earlier about the adjudications, and can you explain the process? And I don't know if we have any results now that
yes,
you will talk about as well.
I can speak a bit to the results as well.
Okay.
So for our adjudications, again, we invite experts in their fields. So, I spoke to Miss Stephanie Williams coming back. So her expertise is music. And we bring in, an array. Miss Marcia Mutu supports with speech and drama. I know I'm going to forget someone, so I'm not even going to say that. I'm going to call everybody out. I'm just giving a few examples. And we pull on, from our music teachers and everyone involved in the arts to come and adjudicate, especially those with background in terms of teaching as well. Not necessarily as a teacher, but an instructor of the arts, because you have to also understand what the expectations are in those deliveries. And the syllabus outlines the guidelines in which they have to stick to. We have score sheets that everyone has to fill out. They give feedback. So everybody gets a score, and we try to have at least 3 adjudicators. That's our goal, 3 adjudicators per competition. And the average score of each individual score then determines your overall award. And the awards are gold, silver, and bronze. There is the opportunity for platinum if you have just blown it out of the park. We had platinum last year for Theoline McCoy's Maypole performance. So there is the opportunity, for those extra points if the adjudicators feel relevant. There is also no award. So if you score, I believe it's less than 55, unfortunately you don't receive an award. And again, some people may feel that's harsh, but it is a national competition. We want to see the best of the best. There is a learning opportunity to it too, getting the children exposed, not just to adjudication, but performing in front of others. Not all of them have had that opportunity before. But, we expect a certain caliber, and so the adjudication helps with that. And again, we then share all the individual scores, all the individual feedback, because we want the children to return, thinking about their past experience, learning from that. How can I improve? Okay, well, the adjudicator said I kind of missed this, or I didn't project as loud as I should, so that's not going to be my problem this year, right? And we've seen kids come back, we recognize them, and we're like, oh, that performance wasn't as strong this year, but this year they blew it out of the park and they got their gold. So it's growth and development as well as raising the bar for the talent in our country.
Okay, we still have about 7 minutes left. I want to make sure that you cover everything that you want to, all the bases.
All right. Well, I'll just I won't go into each individual because there's too many, but I'll just kind of give a general on the awards that received.
Yes.
So, in drama, we had 6 silver and 2 bronze recipients. Speech, we saw 5 gold, 6 silver, and 6 bronze. In our vocal ensembles, we saw 12 gold, 8 silver, and 2 bronze. In our instrumental ensembles, we saw 8 gold, 8 silver, and 8 bronze. And in our dance performance, we saw 1 gold, 6 silver, and 4 bronze. And have I missed? Oh, vocal solos are missing from there. Nope, that's okay. And now I can't remember. But vocal solos were on Friday, and it was an extremely long day, and I had to thank everybody for their patience. But we got through it. Sorry, I don't have those ones. But all the schools and everything have received it, so they know what everybody has gotten. And I just wanted to say, too, especially for our Butterfield Young Musician of the Year Award, competition next Friday. Those kids come out of our instrumental solos competition. They have to be competing at a minimum of grade 6 Trinity level. For those musicians out there, they'll know what that means. And they also are usually our older kids, or upper and post-secondary, but we actually had a lower secondary student qualify this year, who was performing at a grade 6, got one of the highest scores of the competition.
Wow.
So we have invited them to perform. So that's very exciting. And so NCFA competitions do lead to potentially some other competitions, and we're grateful for the partnership for Butterfield for that one as well. So so we hope that the public can come out or view on CIGTV. Also follow either the Ministry of Education's Facebook or Instagram, or the Department of Education Services Instagram and Facebook. Everything will be uploaded, everything will be shared, all the dates and events. So if you've missed anything today, please check all our channels, and schools.edu.ky, just going back to registration for that information as well.
Okay. Ms. Shanay, anything you want to add before we close off?
No, just for registration, just to stress again, to definitely get those applications in during the standard period, and ensure that you get all your documents ahead of time, so it also flows a lot easier for us and you, the parents. And then for NCFA, our young people, get on it, get out there, get your original pieces done if that's the case, or even if it's not an original piece, work with your music teacher, whomever it is, just to get your exposure. If you're scared, that's okay, we're here, we'll comfort you along with your teachers and parents. You'll be fine. We just want to get our young people out there. Our aim and desire is just to see our young people flourish.
And you did speak to the fact that you're a product of that as well.
I am.
Tell us about your experience.
Okay, so for a few of you who may be listening, I did graduate 2009, John Gray, and prior to that, I've received a few silver speech awards. But that very year, working with Miss Nicole Barnett, Bodden. Now. She's Bodden now. So shout out Miss Nicole. She really worked with me that last year. And funny enough, I sang Pocahontas, Colors of the Wind. And right before I went on, there was someone who went on singing that exact song. I was like, nope, I'm getting this gold. Plus, it's my last year, and best believe I got my gold. So yeah, it was amazing. Amazing.
And I'd like to say I'm an NCFA product as well.
Oh, okay.
I competed in dance, so it's nice to have those who are helping organize now. Exactly. We've come up and we were able to experience NCFA personally as students too. And I still remember points we got or things we did or practice, even now into my adult life, bring that confidence, don't be afraid, don't shy away. It's a wonderful opportunity to help our young people grow.
And have there been obvious improvements, between the time that you participated and now?
I would definitely say that.
In what areas would you say?
So for example, with dance, I think that's always been one of my babies as well. But I feel that more information has been passed on to the schools to say, hey, we need our students coming in, and I feel has grown. For dance, I think there has been more exposure as well for persons to know, okay, not because you don't have much technical experience doesn't mean you can't participate, you know what I mean? And as Miss Kim spoke to originality earlier on, we are definitely pushing for that. We've heard a rap piece recently. Yeah, it was the one and only one, and we were like, wow, kudos to him. So that was pretty good. I've enjoyed seeing that for sure.
Okay, well, ladies, I want to thank you very much again, on behalf of, if I can speak on behalf of the people of the Cayman Islands, for the great job that you do in terms of Department of Education Services and all of these programs that you help to administer and to work with as well. Just want to say thank you. Thank
you very much, and thank you.
Thank you too,
folks. We're going to take a break. When we return, we have other guests in the studio as well. We will be talking about women's reproductive health care in the context of cancer. And we will have prominent doctors in the studio with us. They're here for a healthcare conference as well. And you will, in order for you to know more about it, you have to remain tuned to Radio Cayman. And we will be back immediately after this short commercial break.
Since 1976.
Covering Grand Cayman, Little Cayman, and right. One small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
Radio Cayman in the Cayman Islands. From Radio Cayman's newsroom, this is Headlines.
The headline news is brought to you by Kirk Market.
With a look at your latest headlines, I'm Jevi Ebanks. According to the Economics and Statistics Office, the average inflation last year was 2.6%. The fourth quarter inflation rate was 2.9%. Among the main contributors was a 14.3% rise in the education index. Similar to the third quarter results, this is because of a more than 20% spike in the cost of pre-primary and primary education and a 13% jump in secondary education. In regional news, the Guyana government will fully support students affected by a fire at May School in Sobrianville. Education Minister Priya Manchakand confirmed systems are being implemented for students taking exams by the Caribbean Examination Council and the Grade 6 assessment. All students and staff have been safely accounted for and temporary accommodations are being arranged. The fire began at 8 a.m. and quickly spread, but no casualties were reported. Trinidad Finance Minister Colm Imbert rejected opposition leader Kamala Prasad Basesu's call for an investigation into him after the probe into the Auditor General's role in the revenue understatement was discontinued. Imbert emphasized the preparation and submission of public accounts are handled by the Treasury officials, not the Minister of Finance. The incident involved an accounting error in the fiscal 2023 public account, which was later revised. Imbert accused the opposition leader of spreading misinformation. That is your latest headlines. I'm Jevi Ebanks.
www.radiocayman.gov.ky. Check out our social media pages: Facebook, YouTube, X, formerly Twitter, Radio Cayman Headline News.
Looking for fresh, healthy food that's full of flavor? Then you've got to visit Kirk Market. Our dishes are made with fresh, high-quality ingredients. Enjoy vibrant mixed greens or satisfying pasta salads. Or try one of our delicious grill options like blackened chicken, spicy beef steak, or grilled salmon. Looking for something light and flavorful? We've got sushi rolls and poke bowls prepared daily. And don't forget to explore a hot bar or Billy Fresh salad at the salad bar. Stop by Kirk Market today for breakfast, lunch, or dinner and taste the difference. Eat well, live well with Kirk Market.
Radio Cayman Talk Today continues.
Good afternoon and welcome back to Talk Today. We have some very important guests in our studio. The 13th Annual Women's Health Conference will be taking place on the island, and we have representatives here from Baptist Health, Miami Cancer Institute in the studio with us. They're going to be participating in that conference, and we're going to go around the table and have each of our participants introduce themselves.
Thank you so much for having us. So my name is Dr. Sarah Joseph. I'm a medical oncologist that subspecializes in gynecology oncology.
Okay.
Hi, thanks. Great to be here. My name's Dr. Yoni Weiss. I'm a radiation doctor, so I do all things radiation, again, with a specialization in women's cancers and women's health.
And I'm Dr. John Diaz. I'm the Chief of Gynecologic Oncology and the Director of Robotic Surgery.
Okay. You've been here before.
I've been here once before.
So we're going to have you, take off in terms of the health conference and the topic that is being discussed. And if you want to talk about Baptist Health Center itself and, what you do there and the offerings and everything, please feel free to do so as well.
Sure. So all three of us work at Baptist Health South Florida in Miami, and we represent all the different disciplines in terms of, the three pillars of cancer care. So surgery, radiation therapy, and chemotherapy, and other sorts of systemic therapy. So these are the main three pillars of cancer treatment, in addition to many other services that we offer in terms of survivorship, after treatment, from diagnosis to living a full life after treatment. And so the three of us work together a lot for all of our patients to come up with multidisciplinary plans, make sure people get the top quality care possible with all the latest, advances in research and whatnot. So it's great, that we're all here as a team to be able to provide everything we can for our patients.
Okay. Now, Baptist has always had a historical connection with the Cayman Islands. Does that still exist today?
Yeah, of course. So within our international department, we work closely to make sure that people can get in, get their appointments, get a plan going, and coordinate treatment with excellent precision. When it comes down to dates and travel and coordination, we know that it's a lot to get certain diagnoses and try to handle everything and make it all come together in a way that you feel supported. And so, part of our connection and our outreach is to try to make sure that people have the most confidence possible in the care they receive and the quality of the, our departments and everything we provide.
Okay, so Dr. Joseph, I want to get you into the conversation as well. Your particular specialty. Can you tell us about that?
I think traditionally you would think of a medical oncologist as one that gives chemotherapy, but I think the landscape of oncology has changed throughout the years. So just that my partner was mentioning, we go from diagnosis into treatment and then into survivorship. But a lot of the times we become the patient's family, so we become a part of them during treatment. So for example, my partner, Dr. Diaz, does a lot of the surgical staging and then refers patients to me to then look at the systemic side of treatment. So whether it be chemotherapy, immunotherapy, targeted treatments, that's when you would come and see me. So the biggest thing with Miami Cancer Institute that is very, attracted, and a lot of patients really enjoy this, is that we become part of the family, we become a team approach. So not only do you see radiation surgery, you see myself, one of the medical oncologists, but you also have a whole team with you. So we have nurse navigation, we have cancer rehab. So for example, some treatments may give you side effects. You may have numbness and tingling. What do we do? So we have a whole team that also works with rehab, teaches patients how to do stuff, how to change their day-to-day to make sure that their quality of life is not hindered during treatment. So when you walk in the doors to see one of us, you kind of see all of us, and you then become part of the team.
Okay. I note here that you have been published in peer-reviewed journals as well. Can you speak a little bit about that?
So one of the biggest things that attracted myself to cancer care is the fact that the treatment landscape changes. So we have a lot of clinical trials that will change the way that we treat patients. So 50 years ago, the word immunotherapy wasn't even a thing when it came to cancer treatment. We would traditionally think of chemotherapy that has a lot of different side effects, toxicities, the way that it's given. So now with all of the research that we do, so for example, we do phase 3 trials, we attract a lot of patients with different diagnoses. We do blinded studies, so we'll take like the standard of care, which it tends to be chemo, and then we'll add a new medication, whether it be a pill, whether it be immunotherapy, and then we'll compare both arms to see which one do patients do better in. So for example, we have a lot of personalized medicine. So we do something called molecular testing. We take your tumor, we'll send it for testing, and then we'll see if there's any different mutations. So for example, I had a patient that had a specific mutation, so now they're on an antibody in addition to chemo. So the way that clinical trials changes, patient care has evolved throughout the years, and we all do that with peer-reviewed journals.
Okay, Dr. Diaz, over to you. Don't want to leave you out at all. Tell us about yourself and your the field that you work in.
Yeah. So we said earlier, we have a long history with Cayman Islands, and we've partnered with the physicians here to see how we can help in our areas of expertise so that patients can coordinate their care. And some of the care may need to be done in Miami, and most of the care hopefully can be done here with their physicians. And so things that we want to offer, those things that are specialized to our center that you can't get and Cayman and many other places in the United States. And for example, surgical procedures that we do oftentimes through robotic surgery that are really only offered in our center. Recently we did the first uterine transposition in the state of Florida. And that was something that was pretty remarkable. This was for a young patient who was diagnosed with a GYN cancer. And the standard treatment would have been to get radiation therapy by Dr. Weiss, which would have cured her cancer, but would have also left her without the ability to carry a child in the future, which is something important to our young patients. And so together we all decided that we could think outside the box for this patient. And what we did was we moved her uterus and her reproductive organs outside of Dr. Weiss's radiation field. We moved it up into the pelvis. We were able to do this robotically. The patient could go home the same day from this surgery.
Wow.
She was then able to get her radiation therapy with Dr. Weiss, completed successfully. No evidence of cancer once she finished the treatment. We then took her back to the operating room. We now moved the uterus and the ovaries back into the pelvis. And she's now able to, in the future, conceive her own child and retain her fertility and still have an excellent oncologic approach.
Wow. And this is a first?
This is a first. And so these are the things that we can offer at our institution. Again, may not be available on the island, and frankly isn't available in a lot of places throughout the United States. So we like to partner with our local physicians here, our friends, and if there's something specific that they need that we can offer them, they can come for these specific therapies and still have the bulk of their care here at home where they're comfortable. And so that's something we've been doing for many, many years, partnering with our physicians here and our friends in Grand Cayman, and want to continue to do.
Okay. And is there any particular facility on Grand Cayman that you have a closer affiliation with than others? Is it the government hospital or private institutions as well?
So we've had a presence here for a long time. We've partnered with many physicians. And really the idea is, to give patients the ability to get specific care that isn't available on the island, but still have the bulk of their care here where they're comfortable in their own home. So we've partnered with many physicians over the years, established these relationships. As you know, we have a center here where we do imaging, including PET scans offered to our patients. And so it really is that partnership where they get the specific care that may not be available on the island to give them the best outcomes and still have the bulk of their care and their follow-up here at home where they're comfortable.
Okay, one of our listeners has sent a message in saying that we continue to hear about more and more cancers. Are we winning the war against cancer, and what more can be done?
Sure, I can start with that. So one of the biggest things that I'll always advocate to communities and whenever I, speak with friends and family is screening. Screening in itself is very effective, and it's very easy, and it should be accessible in order to screen patients, for example, for cervical cancer with a pap smear, with colon cancer with a colonoscopy. If you have a smoking history, it's a CT scan of the chest, breast cancer, mammograms. So if we screen patients early and at the correct guidelines, then it actually can lower the incidence of cancers that are later diagnosed. The other thing is that we are in hopes of trying to catch cancers a lot earlier, so at earlier stages, so you are curable. So the battle of cancer, for example, some cancers are of higher incidence, some are lower, and it really depends on how vigilant we are as a community in partnering and making sure that we're able to do the appropriate health checks.
Okay, anyone else want to add to that?
I think I agree completely with Dr. Joseph. I think what we've been seeing is that there are certain cancers that seem to be increasing in frequency. Everyone now seems to know someone that unfortunately was diagnosed with, say, a breast cancer at an earlier age, sometimes even before the mandatory or recommended age for screening has even occurred. I think knowing your family history is very important. There's not a huge amount, but up to 10% of cancers may have a sort of genetic link. So if you had multiple, family members, your mother, your grandmother, a lot of aunts, uncles, etc., that have had cancers, it's worth sort of looking at your family history and seeing if you need specific testing for that, which is actually something that is offered to all patients that we see, as well as this kind of germline baseline testing to see if there's some sort of familial link that could be explaining it. But like Dr. Joseph was saying, there's also screening, and one thing I'll add is prevention. So for example, cervical cancer, which is the bulk of actually what I see and do, there's a vaccine for HPV. And so people, I think, sometimes think that this HPV vaccine is for cervix cancer. So if I'm a man, do I really need to take this vaccine? But it can cause other cancers too. It can cause kind of male genitourinary cancers. And it's actually one of the leading causes now of tonsillar cancer. So I think that there's a benefit from the population level to consider taking these sorts of vaccines, even if you're a little bit older, depending on your circumstances, because I think every little thing that we can do to help the overall population decrease the sort of burden of cancer is great for the long term and sort of public health perspective.
Okay, folks, we're going to take a commercial break, and when we return, Dr. Diaz, we're going to give you an opportunity to opine on the question that was posed to us as well. Folks, please stay tuned. Talk today. We'll be back shortly.
Stay cyber secure with Cayman National. Here are a few tips that will benefit you. Ensure to log out completely when you finish any online banking activities. Be aware of phishing attempts and only click links from trusted sources that are sent from your device through emails and messages. Remember, Cayman National will never ask you for your credentials. If you suspect a fraud attempt or that your account has been compromised, please immediately contact our customer support team at 949-8300.
Accidents and illnesses can strike without warning. Ouch! When it comes to urgent care, every second counts. At Doctors Hospital, we have a dedicated team of experienced doctors and nursing staff available to you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Don't waste time in an overcrowded emergency room when you need urgent care. Whether it's a broken bone, a severe infection, or a sudden illness, trust in Doctors Hospital's unwavering dedication to providing the best immediate care. For complete urgent care when you need it the most, choose Doctors Hospital, located in Georgetown, 16 Middle Road.
Subway and Oreo has changed the dessert game. Introducing the Oreo footlong cookie, a full 12 inches of chocolatey, creamy goodness. It's big, it's bold, and it's here for a limited time. Perfect for sharing or not. We won't judge. Want it fast? Order ahead with the Subway Cayman Islands app for quick pickup and earn loyalty points. Or get it delivered straight to your door with Bento and Let's Eat. Don't wait. Treat yourself today. The Oreo footlong cookie is calling your name. Subway. Eat fresh. Snack sweet.
Attention Cayman! Transform your kitchen for less with Granite Express, Cayman's big clearance sale. Sale has now been extended till March 18. Get huge discounts on granite and quartz kitchen countertops. Plus, refresh your space with our cabinet respray services for as low as $3,950. If you only want a countertop, prices start at $2,150. Don't miss this limited time offer. Visit Granite Express Cayman today or call 922-0424 for a free estimate. That's 922-0424. Granite Express. Quality stone. Unbeatable prices.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Good afternoon and welcome back to Talk Today. We have three distinguished doctors, all from the Miami Cancer Institute, right? All from there in the person of Dr. Sarah Joseph, Dr. Yonaton Weiss, and Dr. John Diaz. So before we went to the commercial break, we had a question, in relation to the war on cancer, whether or not we are winning it. We heard from Dr. Joseph and Dr. Weiss earlier. We will now hear from Dr. Diaz.
The good news is we are winning this war. We have new therapeutics. Dr. Joseph alluded to immunotherapy, which is wide application to lung cancer, melanoma, endometrial cancer, cervical cancer. So we have these new technologies that are emerging. Antibody-drug conjugates, it's a really exciting time. If you've looked at the evolution in GYN cancer in the last 5 years, the therapies we're using now weren't even available 5 years ago. So we're winning on that front. The front that we're not winning on are, to what Dr. Weiss alluded to, the preventable disease, right? So endometrial cancer in the United States has now become the deadliest GYN cancer. That's only happened over the last 5 to 10 years. And it's not that endometrial cancer has become more aggressive. We just have more and more women that are being diagnosed with it. One of the risk factors is age, and we have an aging population, which is great. But another risk factor is obesity, and obesity is an epidemic in the United States. Tobacco use for lung cancer and oral cancer, totally preventable. Dr. Weiss alluded to the HPV vaccine to help prevent HPV-related cancers. There are actually more HPV-related cancers in the United States, GYN cancers, than there are ovarian cancer, whose number is actually dropping. So we're making a lot of progress in therapies, but our own personal choices that we're making are putting us at risk for some of these things with dietary exposures, environments, and sedentary lifestyles. So we have to take some ownership to help prevent this disease. And those choices that we make are really important to give us the best chance to avoid getting cancer. And if you're diagnosed, to put you in the best position to be able to get through these therapies with minimal toxicities.
Okay. Can we talk about your presence here in the Cayman Islands? You did mention earlier, some of the services that you offer. What is done on island and what is done in Florida?
Yeah, so the office here, we have a PET CT scanner, which is one of the best imaging modalities in terms of staging a cancer. So when you think about, there's a tumor that they found, what's my stage? Is it stage 1, 2, 3, 4? One of the tests that's vitally important in many cancers is actually looking throughout the body from head to toe to see if there's any spots. And so with traditional sort of staging imaging, if something is too small, for example, a really tiny lymph node or a really small lung nodule, you may not think that it's related, and it can affect your treatment regimen that you're going to receive. And so the better the scans we have to find spread of cancer before it becomes sort of out of hand, the better the chances are of eradication of the tumor cells. And so I think that's part of the presence here. And then, when cases like that happen, where things aren't necessarily as expected, being able to work with local physicians, like Dr. Diaz was mentioning, to have as much care done locally as possible, but recognizing that there are certain situations for specific diagnoses where specific technologies or techniques would be helpful. So from my point of view as a radiation specialist, I'm aware that there's radiation therapy delivered on the island. And from my sort of expertise, we have certain machines that are not available even in my country, but in Canada, for example, proton therapy. So it's something that we offer at Miami Cancer Institute that's relevant for certain types of cancer. It can reduce the dose to certain tissues and organs, especially for children, if there's any sort of pediatric cancers where, no one wants to give radiation to a child. So there's certainly specific situations where having access to specific technologies can result in a better outcome.
Okay. We do have a caller. Are we open to take a call from our listeners?
Sure.
Okay, let's go. Caller, good afternoon. Welcome to Talk Today. Do you have a question or comment for our panelists?
Yes, good afternoon. A quick question. I know time is very limited, and
yes,
it's wonderful to hear these expert doctors here. We do have experts here, too. I'm working in coordination with them. I wondered something over many years. It's only recently, I'd say in the less than 40 years, that we've had piped water to throughout the island. Before that, from the last 50 years or more, many, many roofs in Cayman were covered with asphalt shingles. They were done with asphalt shingles, which of course contains tar, and I believe there's some carcinogenic qualities in that. I just wonder, because people have often said that in the last 50, 60, we have seen a lot of the spike of cancers. Do you think that could have had an effect on us using cisterns with, trapping the water from those asphalt shingle roofs over these years, and many, many roofs, asphalt shingles? I just wondered if that might have had some contribution to the what we seem to see as sort of a semi-epidemic of cancer.
Okay.
Hang up and listen for your answers.
Thank you very much, caller, for that. And I just explained also that before we had piped water, we had what we call cisterns. We call them cisterns. In other places, they call them, have various names for them. So the water is collected there, and it was used mainly for drinking. It wasn't unusual even for those homes that didn't have a cistern to use a galvanized drum to catch the water, as well. So just to add to that.
I'll just summarize the question just for everyone listening. I think the root of the question relates to the environment and
Yes.
potential contaminants and carcinogens that we may be exposed to on a day-to-day basis, and then with an emphasis locally here with the way water is stored and whatnot. So I think this is a great question in terms of what are things that we can do to lower our personal risks and that of our family from our local environment. I think that this question really gets down to the sort of epidemiological or public health level to look at, what are the levels of certain carcinogens in that water, right? So we know that things like arsenic, lead, asbestos, those can all cause cancer. Even things like radium in the soil that could kind of seep into things. So there are plenty of known sort of carcinogens or cancer-causing agents that could be found in these sorts of situations, but it's hard to sort of speculate. But I think, the public health departments and epidemiologists are the professionals that we usually think to and look to help answer these sorts of questions because, of course, they're very important.
Dr. Joseph, anything you want to add?
I 100% agree with Dr. Weiss, but some of the modifiable risk factors, I know Dr. Diaz had alluded to many of them. I think nutrition, if we kind of put water, hydration, and foods, it kind of lumps into one big category. So there's no concrete data, but if you look at a lot of associations with cancers and, for example, certain things like lead, copper, those types of stuff, then yeah, you can have an affiliation. So you can decrease the amount of toxicity through, for example, the way that you cook foods. So a lot of cancers, for example, in Japan, the way that they cook their foods, the way that they barbecue, the way that they use such high temperature has been linked to, for example, gastric cancer. So if we look at a spectrum of ways that we cook food, how we preserve it, and even the way that we filter water, those are all modifiable risk factors that I think are things that we can find an easy solution to.
And Dr. Diaz, how much does the hereditary aspect, play in this as well? We've spoken about the environmental factors.
I think we can take to learn that it plays a big part, right? Only about 10, 15 years ago, when it came to hereditary breast and ovarian cancer syndrome, we knew of only two genes, BRCA1 and BRCA2. We've now learned that there are about another 8 to 9 genes in that family. And so we learn more and more. The biggest challenge is culturally, do we talk about this? So I'm Cuban. Hispanics, we don't talk about cancer. We know that abuelita died from something, but we don't really talk about what it was. And so it's very difficult to get a cancer history. And so I think many Caribbean islands are the same. We don't really talk about cancer. And it's a shame because we missed the opportunity to maybe identify a family that has a cancer gene, in which case we can do something preventative to prevent these new cancers. So when we get together for the next big family meeting, we should try and learn a little bit more about what did someone really die of. And it's not a pleasant conversation. And again, the Caribbean culture, we don't like to talk about this, but it's really important so we can get an accurate family history and see, should I undergo genetic testing and can I identify these mutations and maybe do something preventative so that I don't get this and so my children don't develop these cancers in the future.
Yeah, we keep hearing about the C word, people using the C word. But Dr. Joseph, and not picking on you because you're of the female gender, but we see more and more women speaking out and being the face, of cancer survivorship and things of that nature, much more than men, even though the men are coming along now. But how important is that?
I think it's very important to have a voice. I think traditionally, not to be sexist, but traditionally we had the roles of taking care of the household, taking care of the kids. Traditionally, women didn't work, but we worked around the house. We worked, to provide for the kids and for the family, and the husbands would go and work. So I think a lot of the times, even in healthcare, there's a lot more male percentage of physicians than there are females. Because now we're allowed to vote, we're allowed to go to school, we're allowed to have a credit card and drive. So in that aspect, it's relatable. So if you see another female standing there and say, hey, I had cancer, and this is what I did. This was my treatment. This is how I felt. This is how my family supported me. It really rings a bell and it speaks to your heart. It is a little bit different than having a male counterpart speak because at the end of the day, we know our bodies. It's a little bit different than men, but At the same time, when another woman identifies with one person, it actually kind of has like a pyramid effect. So the way that we outreach is exponential. So I think it's very crucial that there are women representing other women and representing themselves, their family, their grandmother, and really speaking about it. So it's something that you are accessible to speak at a family function. It is accessible to speak, in a friend group. Hey, I got my mammogram and it saved my life. Because a lot of the times you're right, we don't mention that C word. And even when I do give diagnosis in the hospital or in my office, can we not mention that word? Like, let's step outside. Don't tell my loved one what they have. And so I think it's a lot of the times you can relate. You sit down, you have a conversation, and they identify with you. So being a woman, I think it speaks strengths and it speaks to the whole population as well.
Okay, and Dr. Weiss and Dr. Diaz, how do we get men to step up to the plate? How do we encourage them? Do you have any programs in place, where you encourage men early detection, how important it is as well? I know we're talking more about women's cancers, but...
So I can speak to... I treat more than gynecologic cancers.
Okay.
We treat the whole gamut, head to toe of cancers as a radiation specialist. My focus is on gynecologic, but we also do the same sort of techniques for things like prostate cancer. And so prostate cancer, the same gene, the breast cancer gene 2, causes also prostate cancer, causes also pancreatic cancer, and women don't have prostates, right? And so if even though the gene is called breast cancer gene, it's still important to talk to your family, be aware of your personal and your family history, because even if you think, oh, that's a woman's cancer, what does that have to do with me? It absolutely can. And so I think being a leader, being someone to kind of bring up these somewhat difficult conversations is going to help everyone in the long run. I think the way that people approach things that are difficult is different. Not everyone's the same. Some people are okay speaking to a loved one. Other people go online and they find a support group. I think most of us have several patients that have really been champions in terms of advocacy to try to help people like them that are dealing with a diagnosis or with survivorship. So I think it's kind of comes down to what works best for you. Is it staying within your family, within your friend group, or with a perfect stranger that's going through the same thing?
Okay. I'm going to give each of you an opportunity for some closing comments. So Dr. Diaz, for you to answer the question that was posed before and give you an opportunity for some closing comments, and then we'll go around the table.
So I think part is giving men permission to be a little bit vulnerable, right? We tend to be strong and we keep things to ourselves. And so I think giving them permission to be vulnerable with that. There is Movember every November. And again, we kind of participate in this. You can grow out your mustache and people will ask you, why do you have a funny mustache on this month, John? And explain that you're there to support. And programs like this to outreach. So I think closing on that point, programs like this are instrumental in getting the word out and allowing us to discuss this in the middle of the day and have these conversations on how can we prevent, acknowledging that these diseases happen and that there is treatment, there is cure, there is a way to get on the other side of this if we intervene early enough and if we're open to accepting that care. And again, partnering with our local physicians, and if there's certain expertise that can be offered, like centers like Baptist Health, and seeking out the best possible care that you can get so that you can beat cancer.
Dr. Weiss?
So again, thanks for having us. I'll close by just saying we all want the same thing. We want to eliminate cancer. We want people to survive past it. We want them to have the same quality of life before and after. That can be done in a variety of ways. It can be done close to home, and in some cases needs some additional expertise. But I think either way, the most important thing is the support of your family, your group, the people that you call family, even if they're not related to you, and even if it's us across the water to help out whatever way we can. So thanks again.
Okay, Dr. Joseph.
So thank you so much for having us. It was a real pleasure to be here. I think the biggest thing is raising awareness, speaking, going to talks. Prevention and screening are, I think, the forefront of really honing in on cancer across the board on different types of cancers. And in addition to that, having the networking and the liaison with the Caymans to know that we're here. We're here to discuss cases, we're here to treat patients, and just to have that open door and that communication with the local physicians and healthcare providers here. So That's it. Thank you.
Okay, and I want to say thank you as well, and for all that Baptist health systems have done for the Cayman Islands, and facilitating us, with our medical issues that we have. I remember both my mother and my father taking them to Baptist Hospital when the type of service wasn't available here in Cayman Islands as well. So, we have that long connection, with you. We hope that we can continue to maintain that, while at the same time we see more and more medical facilities developing in the Cayman Islands. But, we can never, have enough of it. And, you as doctors choosing the noble profession and, the motto, do no harm. Everyone is extremely thankful for the work that you do. I wish I could continue to talk more because I'm learning so much just hosting this show as well. But good luck during the conference. And for those of you for whom it's your first time in the Cayman Islands, please return again, either in a personal capacity or otherwise. So, folks, I want to thank all of you who listened in, those of you who sent in questions as well. Have a great day, and as usual, we ask the good Lord to bless these three beautiful, wonderful Cayman Islands.
Talk Today is brought to you by Subway, open 24 hours in Countryside, Anderson Square in Georgetown, and Centennial Towers in West Bay. And by the Ministry of District Administration, explore your history, explore your land, explore your sister islands. And Cayman Airways, call them on 949-2311 to book your nonstop flights to Los Angeles and Panama. And Doctors Hospital, peace of mind is important when life happens. Doctors Hospital, always there for you. Call 949